Welcome back, everyone. It's day 75 of our 100 Days of Python series, and today we're diving deeper into the world of cloud computing with advanced AWS services. We'll explore AWS Lambda for serverless functions, create a serverless API using AWS API Gateway, and learn how to scale applications with Amazon ECS and Fargate. Let's get started. First up is AWS Lambda. Lambda is a serverless compute service that lets you run code in response to events without provisioning or managing servers. Create a Lambda function in your AWS Management Console. Search for Lambda. Click on Create Function. Give your function a name. Choose the runtime. Create a new role with basic Lambda permissions. Here's a simple Python code snippet that you can use as a Lambda function to return a greeting. Once you've created your function, you can test it using the built-in test feature. Click on Test, and you should see the output in the log. Next, let's set up a serverless API using AWS API Gateway, which allows you to create, publish, and manage APIs. Step 1. Create an API in the AWS Management Console. Search for API Gateway, choose Create API, and select HTTP API. Set the API name and description. Step 2. Integrate with Lambda. Add a route, choose a Lambda function as the integration type, and select the Lambda function you created earlier. You'll receive an API endpoint URL. You can test it using a browser or a tool like Postman. When you send a GET request to the endpoint, you should see the greeting from your Lambda function. Finally, let's look at scaling applications with Amazon ECS, Elastic Container Service, and Fargate, which is a serverless compute engine for containers. Step 1. Create an ECS cluster. Search for ECS in the AWS Management Console. Click on Create Cluster and choose the networking-only option for a serverless environment. Step 2. Define task definitions. Click on Task Definitions and then Create New Task Definition. Choose Fargate as the launch type and define your container settings, including the Docker image, memory, and CPU. Once your task definition is set, you can run your tasks on the ECS cluster. Fargate automatically manages the underlying infrastructure, scaling up or down based on demand. And that wraps up day 75. Today, we explored advanced AWS cloud services, including AWS Lambda for serverless functions, creating a serverless API with API Gateway, and scaling applications with Amazon ECS and Fargate. AWS offers a powerful suite of tools for building and scaling applications efficiently, and I encourage you to experiment with these services. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and let us know in the comments what you'd like to learn next. See you tomorrow for day 76 of the series.